We're joined today by Shelley Sweet from I for Process to talk about why process improvement initiatives lose effectiveness over time. Shelley, what are some common reasons process improvement initiatives gain traction initially, but 6 months down the line start to wane?
Well, let me give you 3 reasons why they gain excitement and initiative to begin with. Probably there's some pain in the corporation and the process is underperforming, or the company may want to scale up and grow and they're not able to do that. That might be globally or regionally. And then also there may be new regulation that's come in. So all 3 of those are really good business reasons to get started, and the executives are excited about it at the beginning, and they provide resources, and they put together a team that works on this who are excited as well because they're modeling and analyzing and improving the process. But after a while, once we've maybe begun implementing or maybe we've had implementation, that initial excitement wears off. They may move on to other projects, so this is no longer the one that's at the top of the interest level. There may be some other work that comes up, and so employees need to be moved off of that. We may not be measuring what's going on. And so those are 3 possible reasons that they will fall off the track over time.
And what are some tips organizations can use to set up process improvement initiatives that will have long-term success?
Well, I like to use a sports analogy for this one. In the beginning, you need to know where the ball is. So you need to know where you're at to start. And then you need to get the right leadership and the right team to know what's happening in the game. And as a matter of fact, the game isn't just knowing where the ball is. It's having a plan for 4 quarters or whatever your length of time is. And you got to be continuing to pay attention to that ball during that time. That means don't get pulled off with challenges or resistors, or don't find some shiny new thing that gets your attention. And now that you maybe won the game, this is not a one-time thing. Have you got a plan for this year, for next year, to continue to build the team? So it's a long-term process, and all those things are important. Process improvement as well as in a sports analogy.
What are the 3 stages of operational excellence?
Well, in my research, I defined 3 stages. And these 3 stages helped an organization start and grow and then really operationalize with discipline what they were doing. And the 3 names of those stages are, the first one is experiment, the second one is extend, and the third one is embed. Experiment is the beginning. These don't always have to go in order, but you start small and you find some successes. Then extend. Now, extend can go several ways. It could be just in implementation where you're moving into new areas. It could be that you have totally new people who haven't ever done this before. Or it could be that over time you want to sustain this initiative. So that's actually different than just doing the original project. And the third one, embed. The third one, embed, is beyond the project. It's beyond extend. It says, we're going to turn this into the real way we do work. We're going to have the operational discipline, and this is going to be turned into business as usual.
Which one of those 3 would you say is the most challenging, usually?
There's no doubt in my mind that embed, the last one's the most challenging. So we're very good in America about doing projects and starting on project work. We have really good project managers. And extend then is harder because it's moving into new areas, so it has even greater change management problems. But embed says, can we put the discipline in place to continue to do this? It's sort of like if you started an exercise program, do you have the discipline to do it every day? And what happens when you fall off? How do you get back on track? So embed is definitely the hardest.
Everyone talks about company leadership and culture are important, and we know it. But what's the key to engaging leaders so that long-term success can happen?
So leaders are people. So leaders want to see, number one, results and also personal wins. So are they getting results from the work that we're doing? And is there something personally satisfying about it for them? Maybe they're a real entrepreneur in this area. Maybe this is a project that just really interests them. Additionally, we better measure. We better help leaders know what to measure and help them create provocative stories, because leaders want to tell stories. Now, the data will help that, but they need to have a real story to go along with it. And I like to have employees have a real story, but their story would be at their own level. And the third is operational discipline. What are we going to focus on, and what are we going to continue to execute on to keep this going? And that's, the leader has to be paying attention to that, but he has to make sure his followers are paying attention too.
Yeah, and can you explain something you mentioned in your session, the idea of a secret sauce and what it is and how people can find it and use it in their organization?
So in my session, I talked about foundational operational practices, and I also talked about secret sauce. Foundational operational practices happened in 80% of my research, but secret sauce is not like that at all. Secret sauce is best practices based on the culture, the leadership, and the stage, which of those 3 E stages are you in. So secret sauce might only be had by 2 or 3 companies of the 30 companies and more that I talked to. So let me tell you about one in Extend. In Extend, you need to have process owners really in place, and they're going to be working with greater cross-functional processes. And so some companies did training, and that would be one of the sort of consistent operational processes. But another company that had a very strong length of time they'd been around, they put business process practitioners to be personal coaches to those process owners, because those process owners are smart people, but they don't know much about process. So that's an example of one. Now, anybody can take that idea and apply it. So that's what's fun about looking at the secret sauces, is maybe just an extra spark of an idea. But it also might not work for your culture. You have to look at your culture in that regard.
Shelley Sweet from I for Process, thanks for joining us.